Okay, so Kenan and Kel started in 1996. It ran from 1996 to 2000. It lasted 4 years, 4 seasons. I watched every episode. I was glued to it. I was the kid that would watch it on Snick every Friday night, every Saturday night. I recorded every episode of it of the show of its original run. And I still have it on DVD. It took me. I got like 10 11 VHS tapes, which is like 10 hours each. So I got all the complete series on like 10 or 12 VHS tapes. I like I said originally, or with the commercials. So I'm a collector. So I usually like I said, I knew when I was a child. I knew I was smart. I already knew that. Hey, 10 years from now, these VHS tapes can be worth a lot of money. So I would start recording them. I said, hey, 20, 30 years from now, people might want to buy these. They might not show it on TV until I thought about the future. But anyway, Kenan and Kel was a good show, African American sitcom, and actually I prefer this show more than Moesha. I prefer this show more than Martin Lawrence. This show was actually as good as a lot of black sitcoms. And Living Single, those are good shows, but Kenan and Kel was up there. This did not feel like a Nickelodeon sitcom. I'm telling you right now, because Nickelodeon for since the 80s, they always aired a lot of white shows. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. You got the Are You Afraid of the Dark? You had the token black kid in the show, but come on. To see the whole all black cast was good. The show was good. Now Kenan was a smart kid. Kenan was smart, troublemaker, a schemer, and a dreamer. Kel was kind of like the idiotic, stereotypical black guy who's not smart enough to do anything. They had him obsessed with orange soda. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh, something like that. His little sister was obsessed with Kel. And I thought it kind of like it's like a pedophile, kind of like creepy, because Kel was like 15, 16. His sister was like 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 years old. I thought it was very disturbing to have Kenan's little sister obsessed with Kel. And not just obsessed like I like him as a friend. It's more like a sexual undertone in the show. The mother was a stereotypical sassy black woman. She doesn't say much, has her one-liners. The father was a stereotypical black guy, black father, the angry black man coming at you angry, screaming, threatening. Kel, he didn't like Kel. And he was tall, 6'5", 6'6", tall, angry black guy. There were times when he would try to beat up. So actually, to be honest with you, I put Kenan and Kel right along the side of Family Matters, which ran from 1989 to 1998. 9 seasons, and it would have been 10 seasons had the show not have moved to CBS in 1997. The show was losing ratings. It's because the producers were running out of ideas for Steve Urkel to do, which is why the show was canceled. Also, it didn't help but that Michelle Thomas, the woman that played Myra Monkhouse, had cancer during the 96, 97, 98. So they knew that she could die and she cannot be replaced. This is why they ended the show. There's a lot of reasons why the show was ended. It wasn't just because of low ratings, but because also Jaleel White was getting old. He was in college, doing other stuff with his life. He had other plans of stuff. He was getting everybody, all the people from the show from Family Matters were getting old. They really wanted to move on with their lives. The show, he was 22 years old, but when the show ended, so he was like he's in the early 20s. He didn't want to spend his whole life doing that show. He could have, but he didn't want to. They had to move on. But Kenan and Kel was good. They made a movie in 2000 called Two Hairs Are Better Than None. I love that movie. I watch it all the time on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch some episodes on YouTube. There's also, you can stream it online or download it, if you want to watch the complete series. You can buy the complete series online if you want to. Hey, whatever. But the show was pretty good. I remember watching it in the 90s for many, many years. For many, many years. But they were young at the time. The show was so popular that they decided to make a spinoff, not Kenan and Kel from All That. They were on All That too, so they were pretty busy. They were doing All That, doing Kenan and Kel, and they were also making a movie in '96, which was released in '97, the summer of '97, called Good Burger, which came out in 1997, which was a very good movie. So Kenan and Kel were busy to be teenagers. They were 18 years old doing all this. High school kids, haven't even graduated from high school. They were making that money. Now you rarely hear about them no more because they're grown. They're adults. Nobody really cares about them anymore. I do miss Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon has. If you watch Nickelodeon from 1996, if you remember growing up in the 1990s, and you remember watching Nickelodeon and Snick, it's not the same as it was now. It's changed. Everything, like from 1998 to 2021. If you check out, if you grew up in the 90s, if you were born in the 80s, 90s, and you look at Nickelodeon now, you will realize that it's not the same as it was 24 years ago. The shows now are boring. It's boring. It's lame. They don't have any good shows. Most of them they got reality shows. The shows, bad acting. They don't have any. The cartoons are like weird animation. It's changed. If I would have known back in 1998 that shows would suck 24 years later, I would have became a TV producer and made my own TV shows. I'm serious.